안녕하세요. 안녕하세요, 여러분. 안녕하세요. Can you guys hear me? 제 말 들리나요, 여러분? Okay, let's give you guys a couple of more seconds. I think it's on. It's going live. It says it's on. Hi guys. Okay, you guys can hear me. Okay, that's good. Perfect. Oh, 잠깐만요. Oh, sorry about that. 잠깐만요. I should turn off my alarm so that it doesn't interrupt. Okay, thank you guys for joining. Thank you so much. So, okay, let's just start straight in. So, I'm really sorry about the last minute notice of this class. I wanted to give you guys like at least like a day notice, but I wasn't completely sure when would be the best time for me, and I didn't want to like set the time in advance and have to cancel it later. So I hope you guys understand, but this whole stream will be saved so you can watch later if you weren't able to join. And we're gonna play a balance game today. And for those of you who don't know what a balance game is, you can check the description box, or like I can give you like a very brief explanation once more. So it's basically similar to answering would you rather questions. And you will be given two choices. As you can see on the screen, you will be given like two choices. And both choices have pros and cons, or just cons, and you have to figure out for yourself which one is better or less better than the other one. Like less worse than the other one. So you can only choose one of those choices. And here are the set of questions that I brought for balance game, and I looked them up online and brought like 12 of them. And before we play the game, I think it would be better to go over some of the grammar that are used in these questions, so that you can understand like what's going on, like what does this question mean, right? So let's so before we start the game, let's look at some of the grammar points that are used. So I brought a separate file for this. Hold on, guys. Hold on. You guys can see the screen, right? The changed screen of PDF file. So, okay, so I brought about 5 grammar points, 5 grammar points that are commonly used in these questions slash choices. So we can go over one by one. And the first one is nominalization, guys, nominalization. So this nominalization, this word means making a verb into a noun. So it's quite common in English too, right? So when you guys want to change a verb into a noun, you can simply put ing after a verb, right? So cook becomes cooking, run becomes running, do homework becomes doing homework, right? So this I like cooking, I'm good at running, doing homework is my priority. All these are noun, and they are derived from a verb, right? So there's a similar grammar, I mean the same grammar, basically the same grammar in Korean. But unlike English, well, not unlike English, I guess in English there are various ways to make a verb into a noun as well, and same in Korean. The most notable one is putting ki after a verb, and another one is putting 미음 받침 or after a verb. So if the stem has 받침, you can put If the stem doesn't have 받침, you can put 미음 받침. And there are not like completely interchangeable in its usage. Sometimes it sounds much better, much natural to use ki, and sometimes putting 미음 or is the correct grammar. And this 미음 slash nominalization grammar is quite a little bit advanced, so this deserves a separate lesson. So we're gonna learn more in depth in a separate lesson. But for now, you can just know that okay, this is one way of making a verb into a noun as well, and it's quite simple. Let's start from putting ki after a verb. So you take the stem of the verb and you simply put ki, and that's it. Very simple, right? So 요리하다 means to cook. To cook, it's a verb, and if you want to change it to a noun, it becomes 요리하기, which is a noun that means cooking. And 달리다 means to run, And if you just put ki after a stem, it becomes running. So verb into a noun, verb into a noun. And same with this one, 숙제를 하다, to do one's homework. And if you put ki after a verb, 숙제하기 or 숙제를 하기, it becomes a noun that means doing homework. And same with adding 미음 받침 or 먹다 means eat, right? To eat. And by putting 먹음, you change it into a noun. So 먹음 is like an act of eating itself. Eating. 그 다음에 하다 means to do, right? And by putting 미음 받침, 함, becomes the meaning of doing. But again, we're gonna learn more about this 미음 받침 or grammar, this nominalization grammar, in a separate lesson, guys. This is on in one of my to-do class list. So please bear with me. 그 다음에 moving on to the second one. Noun 없이 verb. So this 없이 might look similar to you guys, right? This comes from the verb 없다. Let me make it a little bigger so that you can see it more clearly. Okay, so this comes from 없다, obviously, right? 없다. And we learned that it means for there not to be, right? So something is not there. To be not there, right? So it's basically a verb that means absence of something. So it extends to the meaning of to not have, right? And it's always used with a subject marker, right? Noun, 이 or 가 없다. So for example, if you say like, there's no people, like there's no one, there's no people, you can say like 사람이 없어요. 사람이 없어요, right? There is no person, meaning there's no people. 사람이 없어요. Or if you want to say like, I don't have a book, you can also use 없어요. But this is where it confuses a lot of learners. So to have something in English, that something is an object of having, right? But in Korean, when you're using 없다 verb, you always mark what you don't have with a subject marker. So you should say 책이 없어요 and not 책을 없어요. So it's always, 없다 is always used with a subject marker, 이 or 가. So 책이 없어요, I don't have a book, or there is no book, right? And we all learned this. So this 없이 comes from 없다, and 없이 is basically an adverb form of 없다. So it's 없 plus 이. So it becomes a meaning of without. And since it's an adverb, it's placed before a verb, and it means to verb without a noun. So, for example, 에어컨 없이 살다 would mean to live without aircon. We learned this in the previous lesson, right? Air conditioner, AC. To live without air conditioner, right? 에어컨 없이 살다. And also, 음악을 듣다 means to listen to music, right? So, 이어폰 sounds similar. It's earphone. It's Konglish, guys. Earphone. So you can guess what this means, right? 음악을 듣다, to listen to music without earphone. 이어폰 없이 음악을 듣다. And also, 불평 없이 어려운 일을 하다. 불평 없이 어려운 일을 하다. So this 불평 might sound new to many of you. 불평 means complaint, guys, complaint. And if you add a verb, 하다, to 불평, and say 불평하다, it means to complain. But 불평 itself means complaint. So 불평 없이 means without complaint, right? Without complaint. 어려운 일, 어려운, difficult, 일, like job, task, 하다, do. So it means to do a difficult task without complaint. To do one's work without complaint. 불평 없이 어려운 일을 하다. And 어려움 없이 해내다. 어려움 없이. This, 잠깐만요. Let's erase this to make more space for handwriting. So this 어려움, guys, this 어려움, It's one of the examples of nominalization using 미음 받침 So it's a combination of the adjective 어렵다 and 미음 받침 and becomes 어려움. How it becomes is because it follows an irregular verb, guys. But we're gonna learn more in depth about it in like a separate lesson. But anyways, 어려움. I think you guys can guess what 어려움 would mean because it derives from the adjective to be difficult and it becomes a noun. So it becomes the meaning of difficulty. So 어려움 없이, without difficulty, 해내다. So this 해내다 is a good verb to know, guys. 해내다. So let's use this part of the paper. So 해내다 is basically a combination of 하다 plus present conjugation and 내다. So 하다 means to do, and by attaching 내다 auxiliary verb, it extends to the meaning of like to make it, like to complete a difficult task successfully. To make it. So 해내다 is like to make it, to successfully do it. So 어려움 없이 해내다, to successfully complete a task without difficulty, to make it without difficulty. So that's how 없이 is used, guys. 없이. It's not that difficult to understand, right? 그렇게 어렵진 않죠, 이게. And moving on to the third grammar point, 아무리 어도, 아무리 뭐뭐 해도. So guys, actually we have learned this grammar. We have learned this grammar, guys. Do you remember which conjunction it comes from, guys? Do you remember which conjunction it comes from? Oh, I am just checking the chat section. And thank you for leaving such a encouraging message, guys. And okay, so Christopher, yes, it comes from 그래도. Yes, and Evan 잘했어요. 그래도, 맞아요. And we learned that 그래도 is a conjunction that means like but still. And when it's combined with a verb, it follows this rule, right? You have to conjugate the verb first and then put 도. So it also can be translated to even if something verbs, right? Even if. So if you say like 저는 한국어를 잘해요. 그래도, but still, 그래도 열심히 공부해야 돼요. We learn 야 돼요, right? To have to study hard. So 저는 한국어를 잘해요. I am good at Korean, but still I have to study hard. And if you want to combine the verb with 그래도, basically you conjugate 잘하다 verb in present tense and it becomes 잘해, and then you simply put 도. So this is how you combine the previous two sentences in one sentence, right? 저는 한국어를 잘해도 열심히 공부해야 돼요. Even if I'm good at Korean, I have to study hard. 그 다음에 Anna said, Michelle 씨, 전 바빠도 항상 봐요. Yes, that's a perfect sentence as well. 저는 바빠도, 바빠 plus 도, right? 바쁘다 is present tense plus 도, right? 바빠도 항상 봐요. So Anessa is saying basically, even if she is busy, she always watches the video or the stream. And thank you. 감사합니다, Anessa 씨, for the good example sentence and also for watching my stream and my video. 감사합니다. So basically you can use 그래도 like that, but when you use it with 아무리, it becomes the meaning of no matter how much something verb or adjective. No matter how much something verb or adjective. So if you look at the first sentence, 아무리 맛있어도 많이 먹지 마세요. 아무리 맛있어도 많이 먹지 마세요. So this 맛있어 comes from 맛있다, right? It's a conjugation, present conjugation of 맛있다, which means to be delicious. So 아무리 맛있어도 would mean no matter how delicious it is, 아무리 맛있어도 no matter how delicious it is, 많이 먹지 마세요. 많이 먹지 마세요. 지 마세요 means don't, right? Don't verb. So don't eat a lot, like don't eat too much, don't eat a lot, no matter how delicious it is. 아무리 맛있어도 많이 먹지 마세요. 다음에, and this one as well, this is a combination of 똑똑하다, which means to be smart, right? 똑똑하다 plus 도. So 아무리 똑똑해도 would mean no matter how smart someone is, or no matter how smart I am or you are, no matter how smart you are, 아무리 똑똑해도 매일 연습하지 않으면, so this 으면 comes from 그러면, right? We already learned this grammar. 그러면. So 그러면, when it's combined with a verb, it's like this. Verb plus 으면, right? So if the verb has stem, if the verb has 받침, you can put 으면. If the verb doesn't have 받침, you put, wait, what am I saying? If the verb doesn't have 받침, you put 면. Yes. Sorry, I got confused for a second. So 연습하지 않다, it's like not, it's negating a verb, right? Not practice every day. So no matter how smart you are, if you don't practice every day, 매일 연습하지 않으면 한국어를 잘할 수 없어요. 할 수 없다. Verb 수 없다 means cannot, right? So you cannot 잘하다, to be good at, right? You cannot be good at Korean. You cannot speak good Korean if you don't practice every day, no matter how smart you are. 아무리 똑똑해도. 그 다음에 moving on to like the third sentence, 아무리 말해도, this time it's used with a verb, 말하다. To speak, to say, to tell. So 아무리 말해도 would mean no matter how much I say, no matter how much I tell someone, right? 아무리 말해도 제 말을 안 들어요. He or she doesn't listen to my words. So she doesn't listen to me. 제 말을 안 들어요. No matter how much I tell him or her, he or she doesn't listen to me. 제 말을 안 들어요. 그 다음에 지수는 아무리 먹어도 no matter how much I eat, no matter how much 지수 eats, 지수는 아무리 먹어도, it's a combination of 먹다 plus 그래도, right? So 먹어도 살이 안 쪄서, the 서 comes from 그래서, right? 그래서, and it means so, verb plus 서. And 살이 안 찌다, guys. 살이 안 찌다. Do you guys know what this means? This verb means 살이 찌다. 이거 아는 사람 있어요? 이 단어 뜻 아는 사람 있어요? 그러니까 살 literally means flesh, guys. Flesh. It could mean skin, but it means flesh. And 찌다, it's basically like to be added. So 살이 찌다 means for your flesh to be added. So you gain weight. That's right, guys. You gain weight. Yes. To gain weight. 살이 찌다. And 살이 안 찌다 would mean to not gain weight. So no matter how 지수 eats, 지수는 아무리 먹어도 살이 안 쪄서 she doesn't gain weight. So 부러워요. Do you guys know this adjective, guys? 부러워요. It's a present conjugation of 부럽다. It's like to be jealous of something, to be envious of something. But I know that like the word jealousy has a negative connotation, but this 부럽다 word doesn't necessarily mean like a negative jealousy. It's more a positive jealousy, like you admire something about someone, so you would like to have that, or you would like to be like that. So you are jealous of them in those kinds of ways. So 부럽다. like to be jealous in an admiring way. 부럽다. So 부러워요. I'm jealous because she doesn't gain weight no matter how much she eats. 지수는 아무리 먹어도 살이 안 쪄서 부러워요. 그다음에 oh, okay. So let's move on to number fourth grammar point. Assuming hypothetical situation. Assuming hypothetical situation. So this is also quite advanced grammar, and to understand this grammar properly, so it's this grammar over here, 타면. And to understand this grammar properly, you first need to know the quotation marker, which I briefly mentioned in one of my test live classes. So we didn't get to like cover it in depth in that video. But I'm working on it. I'm working on that video, guys. I'm currently working on that video, and I'm almost before like filming it. I'm almost close to filming it. So we're gonna learn more in depth about quotation marker in that separate lesson. But this 다 basically comes from 타고, which is a quotation marker. And so to break down this grammar, guys, this 면 looks familiar, right? If it comes from 그러면, if. So this 타면 would be if you say this happens. If you say this happens. So it can be translated like let's say, let's assume that this happens, let's say, or what if. So this expression is used when you're assuming, oh, where did it go? Oh, sorry about that. When you're assuming hypothetical situation. And as you can see here, guys, it follows a different grammar rule when it's combined with a verb and when it's combined with adjective. And it's completely the same rule as that 타고 quotation marker. Tago quotation marker's grammar rule. And like I said, we're gonna learn more in depth in that separate lesson. So we're just gonna briefly go over the rule. So when it's combined with verb, you have to put extra suffix in between. So if the verb stem has 받침, you put 는. If the verb doesn't have 받침, you fill in the stem with 니은 받침. And if it's combined with adjective, there is no like additional suffix needed. You can just directly put 다 after it. So that's like the most basic rule of quotation marker. But here, this 타면 is used for hypothetical situation. Let's say, what if? So let's look at a couple of example sentences. So 가장 친한 친구가. So JMT, so that's a good question to ask. What's the difference between 하면 and 한다면? So so for like to mention just a brief difference, 하면 is like if you do it. It could be like, it could be assuming or it could be conditions. Like if you do it, I will do this. That kind of meaning. But 한다면 is more like assuming. Let's say you do this, then I'll do this. So it's that slight difference between these two. Very slight difference. So 한다면 is more used when you're assuming like hypothetical situation. That has not happened. 한다면. 네. So if you want to say like if it rains, I drink water. If it rains, I drink water. Then you can just use 하면, 오면, right? Then you can just 오면. You can just use 오면 because that's just describing condition. It's just describing condition. But when you are assuming a hypothetical situation, it's much better to use 타면. So let's look at a couple of sentences, guys. 만약 가장 친한 친구가 내 생일 파티에 안 온다면, so this 타면 is also sometimes used with 만약, and this 만약 can also be omitted, guys. It's not like always necessary. So 만약, so if someone starts with starts a sentence with 만약, you can guess that, oh, this person is like trying to give us what if this happens, right? To make a sentence in a way that has a meaning of what if this happens. So 만약 가장 친한 친구가 가장 or 제일 means like the most. And 친하다 is an adjective that means to be close with someone. So 친구, friend, that is the most closest to me. So it's my best friend. 가장 친한 친구, 제일 친한 친구. 나랑 만약 is always at the beginning. Yes. 만약, when you want to start a sentence with 만약, it has to be at the beginning. 만약 가장 친한 친구가, if my best friend, 내 생일 파티에 to my birthday party 안 온다면 오다 plus 니은 받침 plus 타면, right? So what if she 안 오다, doesn't come to my birthday party? What if my best friend doesn't come to my birthday party? So you're assuming hypothetical situation here, right? Also, in the second sentence, 만약 모르는 사람이 말을 건다면, 만약 모르는 사람 is a person that I don't know, right? 모르는 사람, so it means a stranger. 모르는 사람이 말을 건다면, so this is a combination of 말을 걸다 plus 는. And we briefly learned this when we were doing irregular verb. So when real ending verb is used with 는, when it's combined with 는 suffix, it doesn't become 걸는. Instead, it becomes con. So basically you delete real, and then fill it in with 니은 받침. So that's why it's not 걸는다면, it becomes 건다면, because it's an irregular verb, guys. So 말을 건다면, and 말을 걸다 이게요, this is also a very commonly used 어디 갔어? verb, guys. 말을 걸다 이게요, it's like to approach someone to talk, or like to strike a conversation, to initiate a conversation. 말을 걸다, to come over to you, to talk to you. So what if a stranger comes to talk to you? Like what if he or she strikes a conversation? 그 다음에 this question is like, this is like the abbreviation of like the whole point of the balance game. 두 개 중 하나만 골라야 한다면, 두 개 중, two things, right? Two things. 중, among two choices, among two things. 하나만, only one, 골라야 한다면. And this is a combination of 골라야 하다, 고르다 plus 야 하다 plus 니은 받침 다면. So 골라 is basically the present conjugation of 고르다. Do you guys know what 고르다 means? 고르다가 to choose란 뜻이에요. To choose. And you conjugate it in present tense, and 야하다 means should, right? Should. 다면, what if? So what if you have to choose only one among the two choices. 두 개 중 하나만 골라야 한다면, which is like the whole summary of this balance game. You have to choose one of the two choices. What if you have to choose one among the two choices? 그다음에 our last grammar is indirect question, guys. So this is also one of those grammars that are okay, I will go a little bit slower, guys. Sorry. So indirect question is this is a grammar term, guys. This is a grammar term, and It's basically refers to the content of what you want to know or what you don't know. So you can think of it this way, guys. If you look at these English sentences, I don't know if he likes me. I don't know if he likes me. So here, this part, if he likes me, is part of the indirect question. Because you're not asking directly, does he like me? Does he like me? It's this quote-unquote question is included in a sentence, right? So we call these kinds of questions an indirect question. So this is a grammatical term, guys. So I brought these English sentences just so you can compare it with like the language that you're familiar with. And also in this sentence, I'm curious what her name is, and I think you guys can guess that this what her name is the indirect question, because this question is included in this sentence. This is the content of what you want to know or what you don't know. Also, in this part, do you know if there is a bank nearby? This is part of the indirect question. This is the indirect question because you're not directly asking, is there a bank nearby? This question is included in another bigger question, right? So this is also considered indirect question. And also, I want to know when she goes to school. I don't know what time he woke up. This is also indirect question. And in Korean, there is a way. There's also an indirect question, of course. In any language, there's an indirect question, and we kind of mark it with a suffix, which is this chi here, guys. Chi. And it follows a different grammar rule when it's combined with verb and when it's combined with adjective, present verb and present adjective. So when it's combined with present verb, you put 는 suffix, and when it's combined with adjective, you put 니은 받침 or 은 t. And this chi, guys, this chi grammar, this indirect question grammar is so common and so important in Korean grammar that it also deserves a separate lesson of its own. And it's also in one of my to-do class list. So definitely we're gonna go over it in depth in that class. And the most common verbs that are followed with this chi grammar is 알다, 모르다, or 궁금하다. So to know if, or to not know if, or to be curious if, or not just if, guys, it could also be what, when, where, how. It can also be followed by a question word. So for example, if you say 지수가 한국어를 잘하는지 모르겠어요. 모르겠어요 is basically similar to 몰라요. But for some reason it sounds a bit more politer. 모르겠어요. Other than just saying 몰라요. 몰라요 just kind of sounds like an irresponsible answer. Like sometimes, not always though, not always. But 모르겠어요 is kind of like saying, I'm sorry, I don't know. Like I'm not sure. 모르겠어요. So 모르겠어요. What does he not know? 지수가 한국어를 잘하는지. So this 잘하다 means to be good at something, right? 잘하다 plus 는지. So I don't know if 지수 is good at Korean. 지수가 한국어를 잘하는지 모르겠어요. 이렇게 쓰면 돼요. 그 다음에 저를 JMTC 저를 좋아하면 몰라요. Exactly. That's a wrong sentence, guys. That's a wrong sentence. So if you directly translate, I don't know if he likes me. If you translate this to 으면, it's wrong, guys. It's wrong because this 으면 is if as in like condition if. If you did this, I'll do this, right? But this if, in this sentence, this if is an indirect question. The content of what you don't know or what you want to know. So this should be translated to 는지. So like JMT says, 저를 좋아하면 몰라요 is a wrong sentence, guys. That was a good question, JMTC. Instead, you should say, 저를 좋아하다 플러스는지 좋아하는지 like 모르겠어요 or 몰라요. 저를 좋아하는지 모르겠어요. This should be the correct sentence. Not 저를 좋아하면 몰라요. So this is a very understandable mistake that a lot of learners make because we learned that if is 으면, right? So it's like you kind of think like, oh, I have to use 으면 here as well. But this is a different if. This is a different if. So you have to use 는지. 다음에 Anessa 씨, you also use it in a correct way. 한국어로 잘 말하는지 모르겠어요. Oh, you don't know if you speak good Korean. Oh, that's a good sentence. That's a good sentence. But I think you are working very hard. So I think you'll get there. 보라걸님 says, 는지 is a bit like whether. Yes, if or whether. Yes, that is correct. If or whether. I don't know whether he likes me. I don't know if he likes me. 맞아요, 보라걸 씨. 그 다음에 지수가 요즘 왜 피곤한지 알아요? So this is a question. Do you know? And by looking at 지, you can know that this is an indirect question. So what is the content of what he would like to know? 지수가 요즘 왜 피곤한지. 왜? Oh, what is happening? Why does it happen every now and then? I don't know. It's just a split second, but the screen goes blank for like 2 seconds and then it comes back. I'm not sure what's happening, but let's continue. So this is 피곤하다 is an adverb, guys, right? Adjective. So you combine the stem with 니은 받침, right? So 지수가 요즘 왜 피곤한지 알아요? Do you know why 지수 is tired these days? 피곤하다, to be tired, right? 지수가 요즘 왜 피곤한지 알아요? Do you know why 지수 is tired these days? So it can also be used with question word, not just if or whether. 그 다음에 지수가 저를 아는지 궁금해요. So this 궁금해요 means to be curious. So I am curious, right? It's conjugated in present tense. I am curious. And what is she curious about? 저를 아는지. And this 아는지, guys, is a combination of 알다 plus 는지. 알다. And we learned that when the stem ends in 리을 받침 and it's combined with 는, 리을 gets deleted and then you put 는지. Actually, it's a different grammar rule. 알다 plus 는지. Okay, maybe we'll go over this separately. So basically, 알다 plus 는 becomes 아는, guys. 아는지 궁금해요. So I am curious if or whether 지수 knows me. I'm curious whether 지수 knows me. Sunny, help. I am curious if 지수 knows me. Yes, sunny side up. 잘했어요. If 지수 knows me. So that's how you can use it. 는지, 지. That's how you can use 는지. And it can also be used with like past tense, guys. 저는 지수가 왜 갔는지 알아요. I know why 지수 left or 지수 went. So, like I said, guys, we're going to learn more about this indirect question grammar in a separate video. Okay, so that was the whole grammar that's going to be used in this game. So now let's move on to, let's actually start the game, guys. So let's move on to this PowerPoint. Okay, so we're starting now. 밸런스 게임 시작할게요. So you are to choose between 평생 양치질 안 하기 and 평생 샤워 안 하기. Which one would you rather choose? So 평생, guys, 평생. Actually, can you guys see the full screen? I'm showing you guys the full screen of the PowerPoint but in the YouTube live, what I'm seeing is like the default mode. So it's not on full screen. That's not good. That's really not good. 잠깐만요. 잠시만요, 여러분. You guys has to be, but not full screen, right? Okay. Okay, that's not good. Okay, you know what? Then let's do this one. Let's bring it to PDF, and then we can do it over there because I need to make like note there as well. Oh no. Okay. 잠시만요, 여러분. 조금만 기다려 주세요. Please give me like a few seconds. Not like, a few seconds, please. Balance game PDF version. Okay, now I can open it. Balance game PDF version. Okay, now I can open it here, and let me switch the screen back to PDF. This one. Okay, now you guys can see the full screen, right? Full screen. Yes, it's on. Okay. So okay. So you are to choose between 평생 양치질 안 하기 and 평생 샤워 안 하기, guys. So this 평생 means like forever. It's like saying 영원히, like forever. 양치질 안 하기 and 평생 샤워 안 하기. So forever 여러분 양치질 하다 알아요? 양치질 하다가요. Yes, you guys know this, right? 양치질 하다, to brush one's teeth. 양치질 하다, to brush one's teeth. So 평생 양치질 안 하기 would mean you don't brush your teeth forever, or 평생 샤워 안 하기. 샤워하다 means to take a shower. 샤워, literally shower. So it's a Konglish. So which one would you choose if you were given the choice of not brushing your teeth forever or not taking a shower forever? I would like to hear you guys' answers. I see never brush teeth forever. 양치질 안 하기. Okay. That's you guys' choice. Actually, mine too. I would choose this one as well because it's like more difficult to bear bad breath forever than, I guess, like dirty, your body being dirty, right? 둘 다 안 좋은데. Yes, that's the whole point of this game, Muhammad. 둘 다 안 좋아요. Yes, both of them are not good, but you have to choose one. That's the whole point of this game. Yes, so it's very hard, but if I have to choose just one, I would just choose the first one. I agree with you guys. Bad breath is just hard to bear. And moving on to the next one. 1년 동안 인터넷 없이 살기, 1년 동안 친구 없이 살기. So this 동안 is 그 particle, and when it's used with the time period, time duration, it means for that time period. So 1년 is a year. So for a year, 1년 동안, for a year. 인터넷 없이 살기. We learned this grammar, right? 없이. So living, 살다, without internet. So to live without an internet for a year, or 1년 동안 친구 없이 살기. To live without a friend for a year. Which one would you rather choose? Some of you guys are choosing the internet. Some of you guys without friends. Okay. Anyone else? I choose the second one. No friends it is. 친구 없이. Okay. I see more 친구 없이 than 인터넷 없이. You love, Orange Cake loves her friends. 나는 이미 친구를 피하라. Gwen, that was funny. That was really funny. 저는 1년 동안 인터넷 없이 살기. Okay. I see like half without internet, half without friends. I see. Okay, that's interesting. It's a really hard question, right? It's a really hard question. 그 다음에 moving on to the next one. 겨울 내내 에어컨 틀기 or 여름 내내 에어컨 틀기. So this 겨울, guys, 겨울 means winter. Winter. 여름, summer. Winter and summer. And if you say like 내내, it means like all throughout winter, all throughout summer. So let's learn a bit more of it, guys. If you say like 방학 내내, you can say like 방학 내내, which would mean all throughout like the vacation time, all throughout the vacation time, or 주말 내내, all throughout the weekend, all throughout the weekend. Or you can also say 일주일 내내, all throughout the week, all throughout the whole week. Or 한 달 내내, all throughout the month, like for the one whole month, right? One whole month. And you can also say 하루 내내 to mean all throughout the day, but it sounds, I guess, more natural to say 하루 종일 when you mean a day. 하루 종일. It's a bit tilted, so I'm not sure if you guys can recognize what I wrote. But let me write this here again. So 하루 내내 means all throughout the day, but it's more common to use 하루 종일. 하루 종일. All throughout the day, like the entire day. 오늘 하루 종일 게임만 했어요. I only played game like the whole day. So you can use 내내. Can we use 동안? Yes, you can use 동안 for a month, but 내내 is more like the entire week, like the entire day. It more emphasizes that meaning of all throughout. All throughout. So you can use 동안, but 내내 has it more emphasizes the meaning of all throughout without pausing. So 겨울 내내, 잠깐만요, let me drink some water. My voice is splitting, as you guys can hear, right? 내내 is used with negative sentences. No, not necessarily. You can say like 뭐 일주일 내내 공부했어요. And 공부하다 is a positive thing. You study all throughout the week, so it's not necessarily a negative sentence. 그다음에 겨울 내내 에어컨 틀기 or 여름 내내 히터 틀기. So you guys can get the hang of what this means, right? So all throughout the winter, 에어컨 틀기. 에어컨 is like AC. We learned this. And 히터, you guys can guess it means heater. Heater, guys. Heater. And we also learned this verb 틀다 in my previous lesson, which means to turn on, right? So you have air conditioner on all throughout the winter, or you have heater on all throughout summer. So it's basically asking if your tolerance level for coldness is better or hotness, heat is better. Which one would you choose, guys? 여름 내내 히터 틀기, or I see some 겨울. You will choose aircon. Okay. I see a lot of you choosing. A lot of you have a better tolerance level for coldness, right? I also prefer winter. Okay. I see. For me personally, I'm like I was born this way. I was born to have a very low tolerance for cold weather. So I would rather choose number 2. Although both are just like the worst to imagine, but for me I would just rather choose second one. Okay. You can wear more clothes. Actually that's true. You can wear more clothes. Right. But still, I would choose the second one. I can't tolerate both. Me either. But I have lower tolerance level for cold weather. Gwen C, are summer hot in Korea? Summers are hot. Yes, it's hot. But now it's kind of being cooled off a little bit. 네네네. But in like in the middle of summer, it's really hot. It can get really hot. Quincy. Nail art guys, you welcome. 다음에 let's move on to the third question. So 초능력 선택하기. 초능력. 여러분, 요 초능력 알아요? 능력 means ability. And this 초, guys, 초 comes from Chinese character which means like to transcend, to exceed. So 초능력 basically means the ability that exceeds like average normal ability. So 초능력 means superpower. So 초능력 선택하기. 선택하다 means to make a choice. So choosing your superpower. So would you rather, if you're given a superpower, which one would you rather choose? The power that 1분 전 과거로 돌아가기. 1분 전 과거로 돌아가기. So 과거, guys, means past. 미래 means future, guys. Future. And you're probably wondering what present is, and present is 현재. 현재 means present. So here, if you look at the choices, 1분 전. 전 is like before, right? So a minute before. So past, that was a minute ago. 로 돌아가기. 돌아가다 means to return, guys, to return. So this means to return to the past of a minute ago. So return to the past of a minute ago, or 1분 후. We learned it means after, right? After. So it's an antonym of 전. So after a minute, so a minute later, future를 예측하기. 예측하다 is quite an advanced word, but I think it's helpful to know. 예측하다 means to predict. So predict the future of a minute later. Which one would you rather choose? I'm very curious about your answers. So I see a lot of past. 1분 후 미래를 예측하기. Actually, for me, I'll choose the same one. I'll go to the future too, because for me it would be a future. If you predict even just like a few seconds before, I think you can prevent a lot of mistakes. So that's why I'll probably choose a second one. And many of you, I see half and half. Some of you first one, some of you second one. You can't fix anything in the past with just 1 minute. That's true, Gwency. That's a good point. I'm impatient. That's both are good, actually. Yes. For me, I would choose the second one. 그다음에, and here is another choice of choosing your superpower. 초능력 선택하기. So this is the grammar we learned earlier, right? 아무리 뭐뭐 해도, right? 아무리 뭐뭐 해도. We learned this, right? No matter how much you verb or adjective. So 아무리 활동해도. So this 활동하다 verb might not sound familiar to you guys. 활동하다. 이게 활동하다 has like various meanings, guys, actually. So 잠깐만요. Let's write it here. 활동하다가요. If you look up on the dictionary, it says like to move, or like to act, to behave, or it could also mean to be active. So here, I think it would be better to translate it as like to be active. 아무리 활동해도. So no matter how active you are, 피곤하다, we learn it means to be tired, right? You're not tired. No matter how much you move or be active, you're not tired. And just one more thing for 활동하다, guys. 활동하다 can also be used when you're describing what you do for a living. So, for example, like you can say 저는, if you want to say like I am a journalist, you can say 저는 기자 means a journalist, 기자로, as a journalist, 기자로 활동하고 있어요. 저는 기자로 활동하고 있어요. So rather than saying 저는 기자로 일하고 있어요, we tend to say 기자로 활동하고 있어요. As in like we are active as a journalist. So I'm currently a journalist, like currently working. So 활동하다 can be used like this too. But here it can be translated as like to be active. And second one is 아무리 먹어도 살이 안 찜. 살이 찌다. We learned 살이 찌다 means to gain weight, right? So no matter how much you eat, 아무리 먹어도 살이 안 찜. You don't gain weight. You don't gain weight. So which superpower would you rather choose? Would you rather not get tired no matter how much you are active? Or would you rather not gain weight no matter how much you eat? I'll choose not being able to feel tired. 이거는 쉬워요. 저는 아무리 먹어도 살 안 찔. 아무리 활동해도 안 찔. Both are good. The first one. Okay, so it's half and half. It's half and half. Not gain weight. 아무리 먹어도. For me, I would choose the first one. 아무리 활동해도 안 피곤함. Because I think like maybe if you are that active to an extent where you don't get tired, I think you'll naturally just lose weight, right? I don't know. 네, 그래서 I might just choose number one. Especially because like these days my stamina isn't as good as it was before. So I probably, if I were given the choice, I would choose that kind of superpower where it gives me like eternal energy. Eternal energy, but it's very hard. Not get tired so I can work out tirelessly. Yeah. Okay, 그 다음에 let's move on to the third question. So we also learned this grammar, guys, right? 다면, earlier we learned this grammar. It's used when you're assuming hypothetical situation, right? So what if you were to receive 받다 돈을 money? So what if you were to receive money? 돈을 받는다면 what kind of way would you prefer? 지금 당장. So 지금 now, right? And 당장 is like this instant, like immediately, right now. So 지금 당장 1억. So this 1억 is for KRW, Korean won. So this 1억 amounts to 100 million won. So it amounts to about 100,000 USD, guys. 100,000 USD. So you either get 100,000 USD right now, or 10년 후에 10 years later, right? 10 years later, 10억. So 10억 is 1 million USD. So you either get 100,000 USD right now or 1 million USD 10 years later. Which one would you choose? So this is not like the exact like same amount. I'm just like giving you the approximation because I'm not sure about like how the currency rate is currently, but this is just the gist of it. 10년 후에 10억. Okay. 지금 당장 1억. 10년 지금. Later. I see half and half. For me, I think I would also choose the second one. It would suck to wait, but I'd choose the second. Yes, exactly. Me too. It would suck to wait. Yes. But yeah, I would choose the second one. I'm not sure. Minor. I'm not sure I would still be alive 10 years later, right? Okay. That's a good point. 그러네요. You guys have a good point, which makes it even harder for us to choose. Now I could invest. That's true. That's smart. Mr. Evander C. Yes, you could invest. Okay. I think after hearing you guys like giving your points, I think maybe I would also choose number one. 네. But it's still hard. If it's guaranteed that I will be alive within like 10 years, then I would definitely choose number two. But if not, then I think I would think about moving to number one. And let's move on to this one. So if you're given money, which one would be which one would you rather choose? So 10원 동전으로 500만 원 받기 or 지폐로 50만 원 받기. So here, 동전 and 지폐 is a good word to know, guys. So 동전 means coin. And 지폐 is like a bill, a paper money. So it's receiving 500만 원. So 500만 원 is like, it's almost like 5,000 USD. 5,000 USD. So receiving 5,000 USD in 10원 coin. So 10원 is like, it's less than 1 cent, guys. It's less than 1 cent coin. So you receive 5,000 USD with a 1 cent coin. But here's the catch. 지폐 교환 안 됨. 지폐 교환 안 됨. So 교환, we learned this word, right? Exchange. So exchanging it to paper money is not allowed. So you can only keep it with a coin, but you get 5,000 USD anyways. Or would you rather receive 50만 원? 50만 원 is like $500. 500 USD. 500 USD. 500 USD with a normal paper money. Which one would you choose? This is a hard one. Easy, 500 then. I would take the paper money. I hate coins. It's still 5,000. This is hard, right? Can't you put it all in the bank? Oh, so I didn't include it in the catch, but you cannot put it in the bank. You can only keep it as a coin. 선택하기 어려워요. Yes, it's very difficult to choose this one. You could put coins on the bank and then get the money in paper. Yes, but I forgot to put it in this parenthesis that it's not allowed. Putting it in the bank is not allowed. You can only keep it as a coin, in a form of a coin. You would choose the second one. Actually, I would choose the second one too. I don't know, because I wouldn't know what to do with all those coins if I cannot keep it in the bank, or I cannot even exchange it. It could, I think it could be a lot of stress, like thinking what to do with all this money. But you would have to bring like a huge bag to buy a drink at the cafe. Exactly. And they would be so annoyed. The cashier would be so annoyed. Like they have to count it all the time. And maybe at some point they're gonna refuse to take my order because they're gonna know I'm gonna pay it in coins. So I'll just go with a more useful money. That's the second one. 그다음에, is there any establishment that accepts those coins? I don't know. I hope so, but I'm not sure. So this one was one of the most difficult choices to make. 그 다음에 답답하겠죠. Yes, 무함마 씨, 진짜 답답할 것 같아요. Even with like that amount of money, if you feel like 답답하다, I think it's not worth it. I don't know. 다음에 another question. 돈을 받는다면, so if you were to receive money, would you rather receive 100% 확률로 1억 받기? So 1억, we learned, it amounts to about like 100,000 USD, right? 100,000 USD. And 확률 here, guys, 확률 means chance. So with 100% chance, so it's like guaranteed that you're getting 100,000 USD, or with 50%, so you could get it or you could not get it. It's 50-50. So you don't know, you're not sure. So with 50% chance, you get $1 billion. Well, sorry, not 1 billion, sorry, $1 million. 1 billion won, so that's 1 million USD. So, which one would you choose? This is so difficult, isn't it? Because if you choose the second one, it's either 1 million USD or nothing. Now this is the most difficult. Yes, Gwenxia, I agree. The second one, the previous one was the second most difficult. Second one, I must. Oh, okay. 보라씨, number 2. The first one, I'll have the second. It's worth the 50-50. So you guys can risk not getting any money for a $1 million. Korean 재림씨 안녕하세요. 재림님 안녕하세요. Thank you for joining the live. Anyways, 재림 선생님 is also gonna choose the second one, and I see a lot of second one. For me, I would choose the first one because when it comes to money, I don't like to take a risk. I would rather be sure. So 100,000 is still a lot. Yes, Ivana, that's my point exactly. It's still a lot. It's still a lot. So it's still a lot. So I would rather choose the first one because I think if you do get if you do get 1 million USD, you'll be very, very happy. But if you don't, I think I'll be just devastated. I'd be really, really disappointed. I should have chosen this first one. I think I would keep regretting it. So I would just rather choose number 1. 그다음에 move on to the second one. Not second one, sorry, the next one. So we learned this grammar, right? Hypothetical situation. So 하나만 먹어야 한다면, what if you have to, 야하다, right? 야하다 plus 니은 받침 타면. So what if you have to 먹어, eat just one? What if you have to eat just one? You can eat just one of these two. So 토마토마토 or 토마토마토. So this might be a little confusing, guys, because 토마토마토 and 토마토마토 basically pronounced the same way. But let me break it down for you guys. So this 토, guys, 토 comes from 토하다. And 토하다 means to vomit, to puke. So it's a little gross, but to imagine it. So basically, 밭 is flavor. So 밭 is flavor. So basically, wait. Tomato is tomato. And tomato would mean puke flavored tomato. Puke flavored tomato. And tomato would be vice versa. Tomato flavored puke. Which one would you rather eat if you have to eat just one of these two? It's also difficult, but I have my answer. So basically tomato soup. Yeah, tomato soup. That would make sense. Oh no. People would rather have tomato. Second one, okay. I see second one, I see first one. I would rather choose first one. Because even if it's puke flavored, it is still tomato, right? So it wouldn't be completely unhealthy to your body. But then if it's an actual puke, then I don't know. It's no thank you. Although this is also horrible. Both are horrible, but I think it's not good for the health to eat puke. Yeah, exactly. So I would just rather eat tomato that tastes like puke for whatever reason. It's still food. Yes, Jeremy C, that's a good point. It's still food. So, okay. 그다음에, okay, this was funny. 그다음에. And let's move on to the next one. So this is also a hypothetical situation, right? And do you guys know this verb 사귀다? Actually, there's a lot more to explain about this verb 사귀다. So let's move on to. Okay, so 사귀다가요. It's different when it's used with different particles, guys. So when 사귀다 is used with 이랑 or 하고 or 와, 과, which basically means with, right? With or and, right? So when you say person 이랑 or person 하고 or person 와, 과, 사귀다, it means to date someone. To date someone, like to go out with someone, like to be a girlfriend or boyfriend with someone. But if you say like person을 사귀다, person을 사귀다. Okay, where's the pen? person을 사귀다. It means like to make friends with someone. To make friends with someone. So if you want to say I made a lot of friends, you can say 친구를 많이 사귀었어요. 친구를. But you cannot say 친구하고 많이 사귀었어요. You can only use 뭐뭐하고 사귀다 when you want to say like you're dating someone. So this is 하고. This is used with 하고. So this 사귀다 means to date. So what if you date just one person, 한 명하고만 사귄다면, just one person among these two. So either mama boy. So mama boy is basically mama's boy, a guy who's very reliant on his mom, very reliant. Like he has to call his mom every hour, like that. Every 10 minutes sometimes, or would you rather date a playboy? So playboy, I think you guys can guess what playboy would mean, right? Like womanizer, like Casanova kind of a guy. So who would you rather date if you have to date just one? Oh no, Belmiashi is already struggling. Mama boy. Don't ever date a mama's boy. Ivanashi, oh, that's a good advice. But I guess the same applies to playboy, right? This one's really difficult. Like, I still haven't come up with my answer. Because either way, you get to suffer. Either way, you get to suffer. I would rather date a mama's boy because at least he won't cheat on you with his mom. 평생 I will live alone forever. I'd rather stay single for life. Mama boy, 평생 혼자. Single for life. I would choose none. But you guys, this is the point of this game. You have to choose one. You have to. Actually, in like normal game, you have to make a choice within like 5 seconds. So that quick. Because the choice you make within 5 seconds is like your truth. So but this is really hard. I'll never date again. First one, okay, I'll choose playboy. I will be playgirl too then. 재림씨, that's a good point. Oh. I like 재림씨's answer. She's gonna choose number 2 and she's gonna be a playgirl. So it's like a revenge. Okay. If he cheats on me, I'll cheat on him. Okay. This is really hard. I would rather choose number 2 as well, although this is a really hard choice. But this is just a game. Of course. But if given the choice of in actual life, I would choose number 2 as well. Because mama boy는 진짜 like I have to deal with the guy and also his mom, right? So that's like. But for playboy, I have to deal with him and also other women. So that's also very stressful. So I think this whole point of this game is to make us suffer. And it's doing its job very well. This question is doing its job very well. But let's move on to the next one. So 최악의 이별은 그 이별이요. I think maybe you have heard of this word a lot. 잠깐만요. Let me open a new blank note. Okay, 여기 있다. So 이별이요. 이별 has 2 meanings, guys. 이별 is like farewell. So if you like say goodbye to your family or your friends because you have to stay apart for a long time, then that's also called 이별. But 이별 it also refers to breakup, guys. Breakup. Breakup between lovers. So it can mean farewell between like your friends or family or someone that you know, but it could also mean like breakup between lovers. So 이별하다 would mean to break up with your boyfriend or girlfriend. So 최악의 이별. 최악이 여러분 최고 알죠? 최고. 어디 갔어? 최고. It means the best, right? The best. And this 최 comes from Chinese character which means like the most. And when you say 최악, 악 kind of means like 악 means evil or bad. So 최악 would mean the most bad, the baddest. So it means the worst. 최악. So the worst kind of breakup is either 환승이별 or 잠수. So both are kind of heartbreaking. Guys. So 환승이. So 환승하다's basic meaning is to 잠깐만요. 환승하다. It can be used for transportation. So it means to transfer, guys. Transfer. So you can say like 먼저 1호선을 타고 you get on line number 1 first, and then 시청역에서 내려서 you get off at City Hall Station, and 2호선으로 환승하세요. This hall means after, guys. After getting off at City Hall, you transfer to line number 2. 환승하다. And 환승하다 can be interchangeably used with 갈아타다. So 타다 means to get on, and this 갈아 has a meaning of like changing something. So 갈아타다, to transfer. So 환승하다 can also be used as a metaphor in a relationship. Like if your lover left for another woman or man, we say that's 환승하다. So 환승이별 refers to a type of breakup where the other person left you for another person. Or 잠수. 잠수 is also it's kind of a slangish word. 잠수. 잠수's original meaning is to go underwater. So 잠수하다 means to submerge, like to go underwater. And this 수 means water. 잠수. And when you say someone is 잠수를 타다, actually 잠수함 means submarine. So when you say like someone 잠수 타다, we use the verb 타다. 잠수 타다. When someone 잠수 타다, it means like he or she cuts off all contact. Like even you try to call him, you try to text him, but then he just doesn't answer you back at all, or doesn't even check your message. And that we call 잠수 타다, for whatever reason. Not just between lovers, but like if someone feels like he needs his time alone, then he can 잠수 타다. So if your lover does that to you for breakup, oh, Christopher C, so ghosting. Yeah, ghosting. Yeah, it could be ghosting. Yes. So which type of breakup do you think is worst? Or worse than the other? I think both are quite heartbreaking, but if you have to choose one, the second one, okay. The second one much better. I see. Okay. Yeah, I think we all agree that this first one is very heartbreaking, so you would rather go with 잠수. 잠수. 근데 I think this would also be very stressful because you don't know the reason. For the first choice, you at least know the reason, But for the second one, you don't know the reason, so you don't know what to do. Like, you don't know if you should keep holding on to it, keep waiting for it, which drives you crazy, right? So, so this is difficult. This is very, very difficult. But if given the choice, I would rather choose the first one because I think both are heartbreaking. But I would rather know the reason. Then I think I would be able to just move on quickly than like not knowing at all why this person is doing this to me. The first one, yes, ear plate. Yes. I agree with you. It's easy to move on. Yes. So maybe for me, the worst is this one. The worst is this one, and I would rather choose this one. But both are bad. Both are very, very bad. Don't do this. Both are very bad. Yeah. And okay, so this is the last one, guys. This is the last choice. Whoa, that was a long lesson. So this is also a hypothetical situation question. 나의 죽음에 대해서 한 가지만 알 수 있다면. So 에 대해서, noun에 대해서 means about noun. About noun. 한 가지만, only one thing. 가지 it's basically similar to the question counter word 개. So 한 가지, 한 개만 알 수 있다면 about my death, 죽음. Guys, actually let's move on to the blank page. 죽다 means to die, guys. 죽다 means to die. And we learned the nominalization, right? If you put after a verb stem, it can become a noun. And 죽음 means death, guys. Death. So my death, about my death, 한 가지만, only one thing 알 수 있다면, you can know. If you can only know one thing about your death, what would you rather know? So we learned this 는지, direct question, right? Direct question. Whether or if, or question word, right? So the content of what you would like to know or what you don't know, we mark it with 는지, right? So would you rather know 어떻게 죽는지, 어떻게, how you die, or when you die, 언제 죽는지, which one would you choose? Knowing the reason, right, makes sense too. The second choice make me overthinking overnight. 저는 어떻게 죽는지, okay, so could you guys what would you guys choose between these two? 어떻게 죽는지, 저는 어떻게 죽는지 알고 싶어요. 언제 죽는지. Okay, so half 어떻게, half 언제. Okay. I think this is also difficult. It's not an easy choice. I will go with the second two. I will go with the first one. 어떻게 죽는지. 어떻게. How. Because if I know when I die, I think that really just kills, like, I guess the mystery that's left. Mystery of uncertainty that's left in your life. So I would rather know how I die. No, Mr. Evan Darcy, because knowing when would literally hold huge anxiety. Exactly. Yeah. I think I agree with that. You would never be able to get it out of your head. 맞아요. I would rather know how I die as well. Konikoshi, I don't want to know any of these. Yes. But once you play this game, you're in it. You have to make a choice. That's the whole point. 언제 죽는지, 그럼 그때까진 편하게 살 수 있잖아요. Good point. If I knew when I died, that would be in the back of my head. 네. I actually agree with that. So I would rather choose how I die. I'd rather choose to know how I die. Okay, so that was the end of the game. Woo! 12 questions, all done. And 정말 수고 많았어요. Good job, guys, for suffering between the two choices. Good job. 수고했어요. Yes, 수고했어요. actually, like the original game, it has to be done within like 5 seconds. You have to choose it within 5 seconds without like thinking too much about it. But this one was a game in the form of a lesson. So luckily, you guys got more time. But it's really fun to play it with your friends. There are many versions of it. There are many versions of questions. So maybe if you guys would like, we can do a second version next time. And here is the vocabulary list. Vocabulary list here of what we learned. And let's see some of the words. Let's see if you remember some of the words here. Since we don't have much time, we can just go over some of them. Do you guys remember what 평생 mean? 평생? 평생. 평생. And 내내. 하루 종일. 초능력. 과거, 현재, 미래. Let's do the underlined parts, the highlighted parts. 돌아가다, 예측하다, 활동하다, 동전 집회. person이랑 사귀다, 최악, 다음에 환승하다, 나온에 대해서. 맞아요. 100 바이님 맞아요. Forever, right? Forever. 그 다음에 time now 내내. It's like all throughout that time, right? So if you say like 주말 내내, it's like all throughout the weekend. 1월 내내, all throughout January. 한 달 내내, all throughout the month, right? And if you want to say like all throughout the day, you can say 하루 종일. 그 다음에 Marcus C, maybe have 2 columns. Yes. Okay. I will edit this part. I will edit this part and upload this whole file that we used on my website. So I'll make sure to put like the English translation. I mean, the English equivalent word next to each word. Okay. And 초능력, it's like superpower. 과거, past. 현재, present. 미래, future. 다음에 돌아가다, to return. 예측하다, to predict. 활동하다, to be active. 동전, coin. 지폐, paper money, like bill, right? 다음에 person이랑 하고 사귀다, to date someone, right? So when we say 를 사귀다, it's like to make friends with. And so depending on which particle you use, it has different meaning. And 최악, it's like worst. 환승하다, to transfer. 뭐뭐에 대해서, about now. Okay, so I'll make sure to upload this file after I edit this vocabulary part. I will add more vocabulary that we learn and also make sure to add the English meaning. Okay. So, Miss Vicky, what time is it? And Anissa, she answered for you. Oh, it's 8:30 a.m. in Korea. Yes. So, I wanted to try a morning time because I've never done streaming on morning time, and I think it's really good. It's really good to do it in the morning. So thank you so much, guys, for joining the class, and I hope you got to learn some of the words, grammar, phrases, and had fun while doing it. And thank you. So I will end the class here. Thank you so much for your participation, guys. Thank you. It's always something I appreciate, you guys being in class with me. Okay. So you guys can leave now. I'll make sure to upload this on my website soon. And thank you so much. And I'll see you guys in the next class. Bye bye. 안녕히 가세요, 여러분.